I'm live. It is Sunday, Mothering Sunday. Wishing all mothers here a good Sunday. I'm having a good Sunday. But I'm reading, and I love reading. I'm reading out of Scarlet. It's a book by Joan Grant. Joan lived 1907 till 1989. She was a writer of her farm memories. This remarkable novel is a triumph of imagination, is what the Telegraph said. Little did they know that they are her true memories from a previous life. She is Piyanah, born as an outcast into an American Indian tribe many thousands of years ago. She's with her cousin Raki. Her mother has died and Raki's mother is dead too. They are with Piyanah's father's tribe. He is Nakachi. And this book is about Raki and Piyanah becoming joint chiefs of a new tribe. This novel has been about, or this book, this memory was about her life as Piyanah. She's now 17 and she has to go through another ordeal. Loads of ordeals had to be done in those days. I finished the last, but with her having won over the yellow skin char. We're now continuing. Ordeals for the Scarlet. The Scarlet Feather is the highest accolade you could have as a brave, which is of course men who get it, but this is what the novel is about. Scarlet can also be for a female. Although the chiefs and those who would succeed them in the feathered council had gathered on the bank of the river to watch me enter the caverns of darkness, I had not realized that they did so only because it was their custom to watch the ordeal of the Scarlet, until I went to Nakachi's teepee the following morning. He warned me that it would not be easy to remain impassive if I had to see brave men die because of the limit of their endurance had been passed. Remember, Piyanah, that to show sympathy would only make their task more difficult. I won my Scarlet by the ordeal of fire, 20 small tribal marks branded into my body. The burns were not deep and healed before the next moon, but they chose each place so that it should bring the greatest intensity of pain. The soft skin of the armpit, inside the thighs, under the instep. It was not easy to breathe slowly and deeply, not to allow a single gasp of pain to keep the muscles of my face smooth and untroubled. I was nearly defeated because I heard a woman whimper when she saw smoke curling up from my right nipple, which the brand was charring. Until then I had been alone with pain and could keep separate from it because it was an enemy I must fight. I was not Nakachi, son of the chief. I was Nakachik, the symbol of man, who down the generations had fought the pain and won. The compassion of that woman dragged me back to reality. I was no longer man against pain. I was a man suffering pain that was part of himself. Instead of being a solitary champion, I knew there were people to whom I could appeal for help. There was no need for me to fight alone. Pain was an enemy whom I deliberately invited to pass through the stockade of my dwelling. I had summoned him to afflict me. How then could I call on the courage of the years to fight at my side? It was the last brand of the 20, and my small mortality was just sufficient to endure it. Had it been even the 19th, Nakachik would have flinched, would have cried out, would have betrayed the Scarlet. If that woman had loved you, I said, she would have given you strength, not weakness. She could have sent her courage and endurance to enter you instead of whimpering with the pain she felt at the sight of your suffering. Raki and I learned this when we were undergoing the ordeals of the brown feather. He gave me his strength, not his fear, his belief that I would win, not his terror that I might fail. When I went through the caverns, he was part of me. He made me believe that together we were stronger than the dark water. The love between us was clear as the star we shall set in the sky. His was the extra strength in my arms that held the canoe steady in the torrent, the thrust on the paddle which kept me out of the vortex, the bar of light which showed me the way out from the caverns. It was his voice which called to me from the green waters between the rocks and the last rain pit. He took on himself the anguish we both felt when we knew danger might part us. He took my fear into his own belly, so that my body was steady and I could think clearly. It is very difficult to learn that quality of love, to be able to say, "Give me your fear and I will carry it," instead of wailing because love has made you vulnerable to so many tears. You share the wisdom of your mother, Piyanah, and I am very proud that 2 such women have let me honor them. He saw that I was moved at his betrayal of emotion, yet instead of becoming immediately remote, as he had always done before, when he found himself displaying warm humanity, he smiled and put his hand on my shoulder, saying, "Nakachik in his own way tried to give you his strength during the days when you needed it. When he parted you and Raki, he lived again through the parting from your mother. When he called you back from your little valley, he woke from his dream of happiness, which for 3 moons he had found in the birch woods of the summer weather. It has not been easy, my daughter, never to show you the kindliness and understanding that your mother had made part of your ordinary days. So many times I have longed to talk to you about her, so that in your words I might hear an echo of her voice. I want to cherish you because you are her daughter. And I have had to drive you to further endurance because you're my son. I made Raki live as a squaw not only because I knew it was vital to the building of the bridge over the canyon, but also because in him I made expiation. I betrayed your mother because I feared that if a woman shared my teepee, the braves would forget to honor the scarlet of my forehead, Tom. Yet I made Raki become as a woman. I saw him pluck the arrows of mockery from his flesh and clean the poison from the wounds which water from the spring of understanding. So many arrows he suffered, and his flesh is clean, and I, Nakachik, the chief honored by his tribe, knew that I had fled from the thread of one such arrow, lest I die from the fester of the wound. Dear father, I smiled. Do you know that I have never dared to call you that before, even in my heart? Since I entered your teepee only a little while ago, we have been sitting cross-legged on a colored blanket, or so it would seem to anyone who watched, yet we have built a bridge over our canyon. There's no longer a gulf between us over which I can only see you proud with feathers against the night sky, as Raki and I saw you long ago after we had made the first journey. We no longer have to shout commands or promise obedience or proclaim laws in loud voices. We can talk, Father, of the things that live in our hearts softly and without considering the words. Yes, Piyanah, he said very gently. We have crossed our canyon, and the first thing I must bring to you by that bridge is fear. The first thing I shall say to you as we stand side by side will betray a promise to Raki. I felt fear writhe inside me like a snake. What promise? I said, trying to make my voice level. That I should not tell you he had demanded the right to an ordeal of the Scarlet. He did so when he was sure that you were going to accept the caverns. He said, Piyanah and I will always... I don't know how much I lost here. I think I better check. I'll